Jerad Spencer, Flair Real Estate. It is Thursday, September 26th, and guess where I'm at? Well, I'm at City Hall. Just had City Council meeting, and we had a few important things. Actually, we had some citizen comments come up, and lo and behold, it was about drainage and what is the city doing about drainage. Surprise, surprise. But one of the things, because we had two citizens come up talking about city drainage, and they both gave these great ideas. I mean, they were spectacular ideas. And they would have been even better is if we haven't been talking to them about those ideas for the past 2 months, 3 months. One of the citizens talks about, hey, can the city write grants or write for grants to help get some of these things funded? Well, guess what? Some of the projects we have going on, some of the new streets, some of the drainage fixes, they're from grant money. One of the big projects over in behind City Hall, Archie, Oakland, some of the drainage dishes, they're from FEMA money and grant money to fix it up. So these things are being worked on. But the biggest issue that we have with drainage is not actually drainage. It's not these ditches that aren't cleaned out. It's where does the water go? If the water leaves our city can't fix the problems of where the water goes. The marshes, well, guess what? That's outside city limits. The city can't just spend city taxpayer dollars to fix and clean out the marshes. But I talked with the county judge last night, and there was actually supposed to be a meeting today, or it may have been yesterday, that they're going to work on that. Dade Phelan actually has some money earmarked for us. Unfortunately, we needed the second disaster to happen for them to give us that money or really work towards that money. Now, there was what the city needs, and this was brought up. What the city needs is if you have damage from flooding, whether you have insurance or not, you need to go off and fill that survey. Right now, there's only 2,514 of the surveys filled out, and we need you to fill those out, because that's what designates us as a FEMA disaster area. It's how much damage you have, how many residents are affected by it. So the state, we have to meet the state threshold for damage. So we need you to fill out that survey. Now, there's a lot of people that have flooded twice because of the flooding. City's trying to get some of this stuff fixed, but the right hand has to talk to the left hand. The county has to be involved. Drainage has to be involved. The city has to be involved. There's a lot going on to this, and there's some things that the city wants to fix, but citizens or businesses aren't allowing them to fix it. So if you look at the schoolhouse ditch wasn't done. It was a government project, and the railroad shut them down because the railroad wouldn't allow them to basically monitor their finances on the project to widen that area. The railroad said, no, we're not going to participate in this. So the schoolhouse ditch wasn't widened. On west of 105, where the schoolhouse ditch goes over, there's a Houseman addition back there, a bunch of woods. Well, they didn't allow them to get through and clean. And I think they would have, but they said the city needs to put in culverts and driveways for all these different places on an undeveloped piece of land. Basically, they wanted the city to flip the bill to develop their piece of land, or they weren't going to let them on. And guess what? The city couldn't do that. They don't have funds. Wasn't allowed. So Houseman's didn't let them on that project. And that's the west side of Schoolhouse Ditch. So there's more to this stuff of fixing drainage, fixing ditches. It requires participation of landowners. Let's see. A lot of stuff about the hurricane. There was a vote for the city budget. City budget's actually making it was approved, all three phases of it. One of the council members did vote no on all three of the budgets, and so I asked that person why, and it made complete logical sense. There's a few things in the budget that he just didn't agree with, and it's one of those things. We can't always appease everything. But there is some extra money that the city is spending, such as the park over in Rose City, because it is a city park. And if you need to know the history, just message me out. We'll talk about the history of why the city owns a park that's not inside city limits. But there's money earmarked to them. There's also earmarked money, and we've talked about this, as $1 million split, $500 to $500, $500,000 going to drainage, $500,000 going to road improvements. And a person would like for all $1 million to go just to drainage. And it is a valid point, but roads need to be fixed too. So it is a tough position to be in. City manager, I think it's really going to be my last point, is we actually have a new interim city manager. Really nice guy. This person actually sits on the school board. It's Raleigh Bird, I believe. Raleigh Bird. Last name. I just met him. I knew a little bit about him, but he's going to be our new interim city manager. So if you know him, reach out to him, say congratulations. And Mike Kuntz is going to be working a little bit with him. Mike Kuntz, the current city manager until October 1st, is actually going over to Orange. And he's still going to help out a little bit. Now, one of the other things that really irritates the heck out of me is the government stepping in a little too much. And we talked about this in the city council meeting, believe it or not, that if a city employee uses their phone at any time to text or email, then that is open for public information, which is good, which is really good. But they're requiring a city like us to have a private phone for them, basically. A monitored phone that has an app that records all the stuff that transpires on that phone. We're talking about almost $50,000 the city now has to have all the phones for the police department, the city officials, the city council. That's a lot of money just going to phones that we don't really want to spend. None of them want to spend it, but we're kind of being mandated by this because something that come up with the state that started September 1st. So that's state stepping in, hurting a little town, taking $50,000 basically away from you guys. It's really what it is. So big thing is, if you want to know what's going on, if you want to gripe about the city, what they're doing, join these city council meetings. Come by, see what they're actually trying to do. See how much their hands are tied on some of these projects. They're trying. And it takes time for some of these things to get fixed. The city is finally sitting on an actual, a good portfolio. Their budget is good, and we're growing. And we've got a shrinking populace. We've got to fix some of these problems so that way citizens come, they want to stay here, they want to be a part, and we can bring people to our town and help make it be the Vidor we all know it could be. Guys, that's what happened on Thursday, September 26th at the city council meeting. Got any questions, reach out, hit me a message. Please share this with other people so those that always talk about city council meeting can actually learn what's going on. And visit the city website. The minutes should be posted here in a couple days. And you can see basically the minutes of the meeting to validate for yourself what they spoke about. Guys, have a great night.